Okay, so they just held opening night for the Super Bowl where they brought the Chiefs players and coaches in, and they brought in the Niners players and coaches and did some interviews and fun things like that. And George Kittle was being interviewed by this kid, and I just want to show this clip really quick, and then we can talk about it.
So my first question to you is,
Yes,
it is
sir.
so nice to see you again, and I'm so glad that you have another chance in your career to win a Super Bowl.
Thank you.
What is the offensive game plan to make sure that this revenge game will not have a similar outcome to what happened in Super Bowl 54?
It's a great question. I would say my offensive game plan is to give Christian McCaffrey the ball a lot because he's really good at football. Would you agree with me? And anytime he touches the ball, he go for 75 yards and a touchdown. So I'm going to try my best to block my best for him and get him as many touches as he can.
So, George.
Okay. I think we can both agree with him on that.
That's a man that is not selfish and knows what it takes to win a Super Bowl.
That's exactly right. Yep.
There is no ego there whatsoever. Like, in the back of his mind, he knows, like, if they throw him the ball, one of the best tight ends in football, that's going to help. But at the end of the day, he's like, all right, CMC's a freak of nature, and he could take it to the house from anywhere on the field if I block good, we can win a Super Bowl. So, George Kittle is a legend anyways. Like, he cracks me up for real.
I agree, but he's not wrong. CMC literally can't take it for 75 yards and a touchdown anytime he touches the ball, which is what makes him such a fun player to have on your fantasy team, right? Is because there's always that possibility.
Yeah.
And I know we kind of talked about it last week, and Brock Purdy, kind of having the benefit of having someone like that, where you can toss a pass to him 1 yard off the line of scrimmage and he's going to take it for 70 yards and a touchdown, really pad your stats, right? Like, it's really nice.
Well, it's like that satire reel that I was telling you about off camera before. Like, he throws it a yard to CMC, takes it 75 yards, and grunts to his coach. He's like, did you see that bomb that I threw? It's like, no, you just threw it to CMC for a yard. But, yeah, it's true. This guy can run it in from anywhere on the field. The question is, how many more seasons of this does he have in him?
Yeah, you're right. He's 27 now. I'm not sure when his birthday is exactly, but I'm guessing he'll probably be 28 by the time next season rolls around. And, at about that age, players start losing it, right? They start headed downhill nearing the end of their, running backs start going downhill, kind of headed to the end of their career. And on top of that, Christian McCaffrey has suffered a lot of injuries in his career. So, have those injuries given him a lot of extra rest and actually elongated his career a little bit or is it actually going to not matter? Or is it going to hurt him worse?
I don't think taking time off for injury works that way.
Well, your body doesn't take the beating, right? So,
but you're right. He missed a couple of full seasons due to injuries. We saw him get banged up a little bit towards the end of this season. He's been getting pretty sizable workloads in San Francisco. He's managed to stay healthy still, though. I'm thinking, like, at least for next year in redraft, especially, I think he's still the top guy. Yep. Like, I think you have to take him 101 next year in redraft in all formats. Like, but as far as Dynasty goes, that's where it gets trickier because he is aging, but he's still so elite. Is he worth just sticking it out and hoping for another couple of seasons? Do you try to sell? Because, like, right now, his value is so high. Like, you could really cash him in and get a bunch of really good young players, maybe a pick for him or whatever. But honestly, that's up to personal preference. If it was me, I would be trying to sell him for younger folks. I tend to lean, as you know, more towards receivers and tight ends in Dynasty anyways. Having so much value in an aging running back that I can cash in on and maybe gather up some of those younger pieces like that and really build for your future off of. You could really set yourself up nice if you kind of cash in the McCaffrey chips, so to speak.
Yeah, here's my thing. Okay, Chris McCaffrey was the #1 running back in fantasy football, the #3 overall player.
Yeah.
Okay, that means that 2 quarterbacks outscored him, and that's it. He outscored only a quarterback. This dude is so elite, right? So that even if he takes a step backward, he's still above all the other running backs. He's still the #1 running back, even if he takes that step back, right? Or maybe he's just a top 5 now, So he's just that good, that effective. So I feel like you could, in Dynasty, I feel like you should try at least one more season. He could lead you to that championship next year, and then you could still cash in for a really good amount because he's still going to be worth something. And if not, if you don't cash in him, okay, then you have Christian McCaffrey, who's taken a step back the next year, but he's still a top 5 running back. So I feel like you're not
as long as he continues to stay healthy, knock on wood.
But we can say that about all of them, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, we can say that about.
But not everybody has the same history of injury that he does either.
Well, a lot of those guys, I mean, especially in Dynasty, we're talking about some of those elite ones. I mean, go get Breece Hall. Okay, well, Breece Hall's young and he's already had a major injury. Jahmyr Gibbs only had 1 season. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen to so many of these young guys. Jonathan Taylor has struggled with injury. So all the Travis Etienne, so all these really big Dynasty young guys, they're also struggling with injury. I mean, running backs just deal with injury.
It's running back, and I 100% agree with you. But I got to play devil's advocate. You know that.
Absolutely. I'm just saying.
For me, really what it boils down to in Dynasty is, are you a contender or are you leaning more towards that rebuild? Did you miss your window?
Yes.
It depends on the rest of your team, how it's built. It depends on what people are offering, what you can get for him. There's a lot of factors there.
Yep.
I would at least be shopping him and being open to offers. But if I lost in the semifinals or the finals this year and he's on my team and I'm that close, I'm probably sticking with him at least another year just to try to make that push and see if I can get to the mountaintop before I try to move on.
I'm 100% with you. And if you're not at that point, don't cling to him just because he's Christian McCaffrey. You will
hurt your only guy. Yeah, if he's your only guy and you missed playoffs, trade him for a bunch of young guys and start your rebuild.
Dynasty is not a sprint, right? So
you have the peaks and valleys. Yeah.
And it might take you 2 years to become competitive again. And yes, trading Christian McCaffrey to a contender and letting them win the championship the next 1 or 2 years, just so you can start your rebuild. It is what it is, but make them pay for it.
That's the thing, man. If you find the right guy that just needs that extra little nudge to get over the hill, and he's got a bunch of extra young stuff on his bench that he ain't using, that person's going to pay a lot.
Yep.
To get that championship now. Take advantage of that, man. Get his picks. Get his young talent that he's not starting currently. And, yeah, help him get over that hump, man.
Because once they can taste that championship, they're going to be willing to pay. Make them pay.
It's all about opportunities, man.
Absolutely.
As our friend AJB would say, situations are situational.
100%.
Oh, shoot. Yeah.